Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Today we are talking about the health benefits of rucking. If you're not familiar with rucking, R-U-C-K-I-N-G, might be because you're not in the military or never were. Rucking is basically hiking or walking, usually over rough terrain, but not always, and where you've got a heavy backpack on. So you've got not just a backpack, but a backpack with presumably some weight in it that's weighing you down. So I'll get into the health benefits. I'm also going to get into some of the risks. There are some things that, whenever a new fad like this comes about, there's usually not enough talk about the dangers and about how to properly apply something. And I think people get really excited and they say, I'm going to go try this. And it becomes something of a fad, and inevitably people get hurt. So I'm going to show you how to do this safely and, again, what the health benefits can be. Before I get into it all, I'm going to ask for you to like and subscribe so more people see this video and so you get more videos from this podcast. Also, if you could grab the link and maybe share it on your socials, I would really appreciate getting the word out about this video and the channel. All right, all that said, let's go ahead and get into it. So again, rucking is when you've got a heavy weight behind you, generally in the form of a backpack. And that whether you're on rough terrain or not, you're hiking, you're going for a long walk, you've got this weighted backpack on. Now, I've talked a lot on this channel about how people who are counting steps, we had a whole video on this about the Fitbit step counting and pedometer step counting, and how counting your steps doesn't really tell you the actual workload and the calories that you're burning or the health that you're building in the heart. Because if the intensity is too low in walking, hiking, or any kind of cardiovascular endeavor, if the intensity is too low for your levels of health and fitness, then it's really not going to be very therapeutic. I won't say you're wasting your time, but you do want to make sure you're getting the intensity right so you're getting the most out of it. With rucking, the idea here is that the resistance in your backpack is going to put more work on your muscles and put more work on the heart and lungs, and that therefore your whole system, your metabolic factors, your muscles, your bones, your joints, everything are going to essentially get a better workout. And there's some truth to this because it is weighing you down. And if you have the right intensity, we'll talk more about that in a moment, but the right intensity behind you, just enough to put your heart into the right zone for you and your current level of health and fitness, then you've got a really good thing. You're getting better cardio than you would without the weight. And you are getting excess weight pushing down on your body, not from adipose, from excess body fat, which of course is unhealthy, but instead it's weight that's not part of your body. It's nothing unhealthy on you, but it's weighing down your body. And that can be beneficial for your bones mainly, potentially for some joints as well. Now, I will tell you that when you get into movement science and you really start understanding the physics of what's going on here, every little detail can make this better or worse for you. And what I mean is, like, let's say you have a particularly long backpack and maybe short legs. It's really easy there to create a lot of scenarios that can actually be pretty damaging for the knees and potentially damaging for the hips. And to explain that a little bit more, whether you have a long backpack, a short one, whatever your limb length is, regardless of what's happening, keep in mind that that weight behind you, although again, it's doing some good things, it is weighing you down and actually pulling you backward. It's trying to pull your body into hyperextension. You don't let that happen by engaging your muscles. So you don't tilt too far back, hopefully. But just keep in mind that while you're hiking and while you're potentially going up and down some hills and while your biomechanics are constantly changing, keep in mind that you could, for at least a brief period, fall into some hyperextension like this. And this could create some damage to your low back, could potentially just disrupt the relationship between your pelvis and your lumbar spine. And when I say could, I'm not saying that this is terribly uncommon. It's something that is actually pretty likely for people who have poor biomechanics or for people who are gone for a very long time to where their muscles aren't endurant enough. They don't really have enough endurance to take on that long of a hike without their muscles starting to fail. So what I'm getting at is this. If you're someone who were to do 20 or 30 minutes and you have great musculature to do that, and the load behind you in the backpack is not so heavy that you're kind of all over the place like this, you're probably going to be okay. You'll probably see a whole lot more health benefit from this, again, in terms of the bones, the heart, the lungs, the fat burning, etc., than you'll see in terms of risk. However, let's say that your friends tell you, hey, let's all go rucking. We're going to be gone for an hour. And your experience over the past couple of weeks or so is maybe just walking for 20, 30 minutes. Well, not only are you more than doubling the time that you're going to be gone now, which means that your muscles are more likely to start to fail and you're going to have poorer biomechanics, less stability in the spine and the legs, all of your balance muscles, the pelvis. Not only are you more at risk of injury there, but you're also at risk of overtraining too, because now you're going to be gone so long with weight behind you, which is a whole lot more work that I'm not saying it's going to put you in great, great danger necessarily, but certainly it's more work than what we would clinically want for you. And you could easily overtrain your muscles and potentially even overtrain your heart and have some kind of cardiovascular episode. So there's just not enough data on the table. I'd have to sit down and really understand you and your exact level of fitness. So there's not enough data on the table for me to say in a video like this, yes, you should do it or no, you shouldn't. But what I would say is if you're new to long walks and if you're new to using heavy loads behind you, you definitely want to start small and gradually work your way up, regardless of how confident you feel. All right, I know when we feel confident and we're dealing with the outdoors, maybe we have some friends with us, it can feel really good to just go, go, go. The problem is you don't realize when you're overdoing something. You don't really realize until it's too late. So, a couple of tips here. The heavy load behind you, again, should start small, like start with just a pound or so, and very gradually work your way up over weeks, not days. Also, consider your load in ratio to how long you're going to be gone. If you're only used to walking for 30 minutes with no weight, like I said, don't jump into adding weight and then going longer than 30 minutes. That's not going to work. And really be cognitive of your biomechanics, of the way you're moving and how strong your spine is. If you start off at your walk with a really good, strong neutral spine, and then slowly it starts to bend forward like this, you've got that weight behind you bending forward with you. That's going to put some stress on your knees. I'm not saying you'll even feel it. I don't suggest you'll necessarily feel knee pain right away, but you are going to now be putting excess stress on your body and on your knees in a way that your body's not naturally meant to deal with. You know, we're not supposed to walk hunched over, especially not with an extra 5, 10, or 20 pounds up here behind you. Now, for these reasons, I've got to tell you, I really don't recommend rucking with a backpack. I would recommend using a weighted vest, preferably one that has some of the weight in front of you and some of the weight behind you. If you can find a vest like that, where the weight is more distributed, that's going to be more ideal because now instead of loading it all behind you, so it's pulling you back the whole time that you're trying to walk, now you've got some weight here, some weight back here. It's more of an even natural distribution for your knees, especially, but really all of your joints. So that'll also put you in a better, safer position. All things considered, I think the best thing about rucking is not necessarily what it's going to do for your bones and for your improved metabolism. I think in the totality of everyone watching this, I think the greatest benefit is that it's going to allow you to more readily put your heart rate where it needs to be when you're hiking for your goals and your health needs. So if you're someone who has excess body fat, you can now manipulate the weight that's going into the backpack or the weighted vest so that you can get it just right so that it puts your heart rate where is necessary. So, for example, if you're someone who would benefit from zone 2 training and normal walking, you're generally not even in zone 1 or even in the early part of zone 1. Now, adding a few pounds can really change all of that. And then again, if you're someone who perhaps has osteoporosis or osteopenia in any of your lower body bones, well, then it would also make sense just because it's going to help weigh you down. It's going to help to put a little bit more stress on those bones. Probably won't be enough to actually make any significant change. You generally need about 80 or 85% of load to be there on those bones. So I don't think it's going to help you a whole lot there. But regardless, it would still be a little bit of a step in the right direction, no pun intended. So anyway, everyone, I hope this video has been helpful. Please let me know, though, what your unique situations are. I want to know your medical history, your current levels of fitness, how often you're rucking or walking. Let me know that, and then I can help you to mold and shape more of a program that's progressive so that from week to week, you can slowly take little steps in improving your physicality and not just having the same routine that you do regularly. Those routines don't do as much for you as something that's really progressive and that's taking into account your medical history and your current levels of health. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Please reach out with any questions. As always, I am available for private coaching. I still have a few spots left in my schedule, so go ahead and reach out to me. My phone number is down below, and I do reply to every comment that we get here on the channel. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.